dominated society. Yeah, we know one of the few things we actually know about Mary Magdalene from Luke chapter 8 is that she and Susanna and Joanna provided for Jesus and his disciples out of their means, which were pretty sure means provided for them financially. So they sort of funded the ministry. Jesus and his disciples, they had to go around, they had expenses. They don't have a lot of expenses, but they had expenses. And so these three women funded their ministry. And so the question arises, well, where did women get money? Women did have money in the Roman world. It wasn't often, but they did. They could be successful in business and make money. They could, person says something about, didn't they, that women couldn't inherit money. That's complicated. I think sometimes they could. A woman could. I think women sometimes could inherit money if they had. If there weren't children, they almost certainly would inherit the money. If there were only daughters, they might inherit the money. If there's normally the inheritance went to the oldest son, and women could sometimes inherit money, but they also could make money in business and in other ways. It just isn't common. It was very much a male-dominated society that just, would be, which, in case you haven't noticed, still is a male-dominated society that we live in. But there it was possible. We hear about Lydia in the book of Acts. It was a wealthy woman. And Priscilla and Aquila we hear about as two companions of Paul in Corinth. And it's funny because Priscilla is almost always mentioned first, whereas Aquila was the husband. But it's Priscilla and Aquila. Maybe I'm talking about Melissa and Mark, rather than Mark and Melissa. It went counter to how you typically did it in society. And people will say, well, why did they always mention her first? Well, probably because she was the important one. So it was possible. And they had a tent making business. And apparently it was Priscilla's tent making business, and Aquila was her husband. So women can make money. Some studies show that women were more likely to read and write than men at the time of Jesus. Why would that be? Why would women be more likely to be able to read and write than men?
They were not tried harder.
Maybe they tried harder. Maybe also it wasn't considered all that important. It's more of a leisure activity. When they read and write, they had.
You had to be able to read the instructions.
So men weren't going to waste their time learning to read and write. They were going to learn to hunt and fish and cut down trees and do all the stuff that you needed to do. The wife could stay home and learn how to read. But so they're actually more likely to be able to read and write. All right, let me see what else. Somebody wants to know why I said somewhere in the study that I was talking about that why can't our animals be in the can animals go to heaven? And I said, well, it talks about lions or whatever happens. I said from where I'm reading in the Bible, there's no reason not to think that our pets can go to heaven, and I expect 3 of my 4 cats to be there.
And made me very intrigued about cat number 4.
So that was a joke. I don't really. We do have 3 cats who love us and 1 cat who doesn't. But I suspect, rely on grace, that probably has nothing to do with it. I can tell you that about the cat that some people have you have a door that squeaks. Eep, eep. We have a door that hisses. So the way this happened is people contacted my dear wife, Melissa, and said that there was a female cat that had kittens underneath their deck, and we stayed till they were weaned, and then moved on to make other contributions to society. And now there were these 4 kittens under the deck, already past the time when they needed a mother. And so my dear wife Melissa decided that the only thing she wanted was for her birthday was one of those kittens. And I pointed out to her that we already had 4 cats, and that many people would consider 4 to be a sufficient number of cats. She said they're going to grow up in the woods and nobody is ever going to love them, which also seemed like a good point. So, in any case, I believe that if a goddess consents to marry a mortal, it behooves the mortal to do everything in his power to make her happy. So I crawled under the deck with a butterfly net and captured what I believe to be the most fortunate of the 4 kittens and presented it to her for her birthday. So the cat immediately, the closest thing to a deck was our bed, so it ran under the bed and wouldn't come out. And we would put food or water or something under the bed for it, and had a litter box right next to the bed that it would only use if nobody was around or in the room. And I said, well, it can't stay under the deck forever, which was true because eventually it discovered the top of the closet and ended up at the top of the closet. So at some point when I got up there and cleared off the entire shelf of the closet and put soft fuzzy blankets up there and put a food and water dish and the litter box there in the closet and leave the closet just this much ajar or something, like that. And now I go and I open the door to the closet. the door that hisses. Open the door and go.
Hissing door.
Amelia, she hates us, and it's been 3 years, and she still hates us. And, so I just every day open the door and to the top of the closet. Okay, Amelia, I'm just putting some more food in your dish, and checking your water, and cleaning your litter box, and then I'll be gone. That's it. And so I read in the Bible where Jesus says, God makes the rain to fall on the good and the bad, and the sun to shine on the righteous. And Jesus is just observing. This is where he tells us why we should love our enemies. Why should you love people who hate you? Because God does. I mean, just look around you. You have neighbors. Here you go to synagogue every week and give faith and sing hymns of praise to God, and your neighbor over there hates God and curses God. Does it rain on your crops and not his? Yeah. Everybody gets sunshine, everybody gets rain, because God is equally good to people who love God and to people who hate God. So I always think about that with our 4 cats. We have 3 cats who want to curl up with us and sit in our laps and sleep with us at night. Another one who lives at the top of the closet and hisses at us we fill all the food dishes and all the water dishes and clean all the litter boxes, and that's that. So, all right. Anything else?